Meanwhile, a long column of Iraqi troops loaded down with military equipment and stolen goods beat a hasty retreat out of Kuwait. They fled along the road to Basra, now better known as the Highway of Death.
The head of the Kuwaiti underground called me and he says they're leaving. He was crying. I started crying. And then we said, we need to stop this exodus because this is military capability which may be turned around and brought back into play in a few years.
The Iraqis that were in Kuwait, from the top person to the lowest person, were the most brutal individuals that societies had to deal with since World War II. So when the call came that they were taking their equipment and cars and trucks and exiting, I called Colonel Bull Baker and I said, I want you to get 12 air crews and I want you to personally take them to the airplane. Tell them they only have to do one thing. Go to Kuwait City, go north on Highway 6 and stop the convoy.
F-15Es boxed the convoy in by bombing vehicles at the front and the end of the column. Then bombers and helicopter gunships went down the 2-mile-long line of traffic and methodically blew up every single vehicle. It was one of the most controversial events of the war.
There were some Iraqis who were killed, but I was there at that point when the Iraqi truck engines were still running. Nobody in them, but the engine was running. So they weren't stupid. They had seen air coming down the column and they'd bailed out and escaped over in the marsh and ultimately made their way back into Iraq. So it really wasn't the highway of death, per se.
That was the most horrible scene I've ever seen in my life. And all you can see is destroyed equipment and corpses. A few meters away from me, there was a tank covered with corpses, still freshly killed. Their blood was dripping. And the whole tank was covered with corpses and blood.
Faced with the grim results, some wondered if overwhelming force had mutated into overkill.
That created a sense that we were beating up on these Iraqis who were just simply trying to flee the battlefield. It did not convey the sense about defanging the Iraqis sufficiently so that they'd stay in their box for at least 10 years. So I had no problem with what we did on the so-called highway of death or destruction.
But in Washington, the political leadership feared that more scenes like the destruction on the road to Basra would tarnish what was amounting to a picture-perfect victory.